Hey guys, just wanted to let you know that this is a short clip from a longer interview that you can check out on my other YouTube channel, Rare Liquid. Any kind of frustrating moment that you guys might have had on the job? And let me preface everything by saying, of course, every job has its frustrating moments. Does any particularly stand out to any of you guys? Maybe starting with Eunice?
Yeah, happy to start. I think first and foremost, the frustrations are personal. I think anyone who is in our kind of our background or going into investment banking and they want to do well at work, and it's very frustrating to be very bad at your job when you first start. Like more so, it bothered me a lot more than I thought it would. But I think some things that are, I guess, unique to the industry is the unpredictability of scheduling and just you don't know when something I can commit to like social plans outside because even a week ahead, you're like, I just really don't know what's going to happen that night. I could maybe sign off at 7, unlikely, but I can maybe sign off at 7 or I might be home at 3 a.m. Like it just depends. And I think that speaks a little bit more to the process of banking. So just not knowing when things are going to happen and sometimes feeling like that can be predicted or managed so that you have a better sense. But when you are an intern and trying to learn, I don't think you have as much of a say, to be honest.
Yeah. How about?
Yeah, I resonate with that so much. Like the idea that I think I'm intelligent and competent, and then you plug into a completely new environment and you're looking like a fish out of water. So that adjustment period from one, accepting that it's going to take time to learn and be a little bit more competent. And then secondly, the actual learning process itself, those were frustrating as crazy. So I totally resonate with that. And it happened even in my old job before when someone give you an instruction and you think you get it, and then you're sitting down to try to do it, and then you're like, wait, does this step come before or after? So
yeah, and actually I remember literally my first week when I was an analyst, I spent, I think it was like 80 hours and I was working on the weekend and I was trying to find public metrics for a private transaction that happened. And so it was like impossible, but I didn't know that it was impossible until this M&A associate just walked by. And then I asked him like, yo, I am struggling so hard on this. How do I find this metric? And he's like, oh, you can't find that. And so stuff like that, you just like are slow at the beginning because you just don't know a lot of things, but you kind of build your skills over time. I'm sure that will happen with all of you guys as you go back to the workforce and all that.
That's the hope.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
But moving on to kind of on a related note, I guess. So IB obviously is the work-life balance is very tough. And so as you guys were going through I think the internship's a little bit different in the sense that it's more of a sprint rather than a marathon versus like the full-time is more of a marathon than a sprint. But with that said, how did you guys either counteract the tough work-life balance or how did you see, what kind of advice were you given? Alonzo, maybe starting with you.
Yeah, I think, well, it's a difficult question because, yeah, it's long hours and sometimes it's just hard to take a break. But something we would do in the group, and I'll probably enjoy it more once I go back full time, is there is this short period of time, 1 hour at 6 p.m. where you're basically free to do whatever you want. It's called flex time. And I really like that because it gives you the liberty to go to the gym or just go out and eat something. And then go back to work. But I think that helps a lot, especially when you've been having like a long day. And then on the weekends, you just have to manage your schedule. Sometimes you'll have time, sometimes you won't. And it's just keeping yourself motivated and knowing why you're doing this job and looking at the bright side, and then just using whatever time you have left to enjoy yourself and do some sports and go out. But I think it's a job that requires you to keep yourself focused, but also relaxed in a sense that you don't, because if not, you just burn out, and that's something you definitely want to avoid.
Yeah, I would echo that. I think self-awareness is pretty important in this job because, I mean, most corporate jobs will take whatever you are willing to give. I think banking is definitely true and probably an extreme to that given the hours. And so being able to be aware of how quickly you're burning the candle at both ends, know that you are on the track to burning out and being able to mitigate that I think is a pretty important skill in banking, and it's kind of critical to long-term success. Managing up is honestly like, it's like kind of a basic answer, but I feel like it's pretty important. Like as long as you prove yourself and you prove that you are dependable and reliable, most people are very like understanding of like, I will take time for myself, and they trust that you're going to get stuff done. And so like, as soon as you build that social capital, being able to communicate that clearly allows you to have a little bit more work-life balance.
Now, before you leave, if you're interested in recruiting for investment banking, I highly recommend you guys check out Wall Street Prep. Wall Street Prep offers financial modeling courses so you can be ready not just for interviews, but your job on the desk as a banker. And what I really like is that they have you dig into financial statements and build models using real numbers, just like what I used to do at JP Morgan. And they offer a ton of great courses, but the two I particularly recommend are the accounting course and then the premium modeling package, which has been taken by over 100,000 students and goes over all the key valuation concepts I learned in banking, like DCFs, comps, accretion dilution, and LBOs. If any of this is of interest to you and you want to purchase a course from Wall Street Prep, be sure to use my code RareLiquid to get 20% off of any course. And with that said, thank you guys for tuning in to this clip. If you want to get the full interview, be sure to check out my main channel, Rare Liquid. And you can also listen to it on the go on podcasting platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. With that said, thank you guys for tuning in, and hope to catch you guys in the next clip or video.